The person has to understand that navabhyosthi param pratyek navaveda paramparam tad vijnanat bhavet turiya iti Vedanta Dindima, verse number 82. So that means the person has to witness, the person has to know tad vijnana. So what is that? In short, both subtle body and gross body. Because causal body is a causal body, difficult to notice, difficult to know. But both both subtle body and gross body to be known, that different from me. So I am not these both bodies, these two both bodies. That has to be really understood again and again. See, what is happening here is, as we know, one side is knowledge, other side is our prarabdha and habitual error. Also, our present circumstances. So these three somehow gets mixed up. Sometimes you know what is right, what is wrong. Like the verse goes for Duryodhana, Janami dharmam nachame pravritti, Janami adharmam nachame nivritti. So Duryodhana says very clearly, I know what is dharma, but I am not able to engage in the good karmas. I know what is adharma, but I am not able to withdraw from them either. So why? Because of circumstances. Because he had a father who was blind, but very much jealous, very much insecure, greedy, with reference to power, in spite of not having the qualification to get that much power. So that insecurity was injected in this child's mind, and the child grew up with the hunger of power. So when the child grew up with hunger of power, and of course he did whatever he wanted to do it. You can see how the circumstances. Yes, there is a prarabdha involved, no doubt in it. So his prarabdha and present circumstances created such a confusion in him, even if he knew many things, did not work in life. So that's why, to make sure that knowledge takes over me, I need to be more and more aware of what? My subtle body and my gross body too. So when I am aware of these two all the time, then the body dharma will continue, but I will not be carried away with the body dharma. Continuing. Nava bhasa navagyatvat navopadhinnavamatmana mithya jnatva vasisthetu maunam Vedanta Dindimaha. It says, Nava abhasaha Navatmana navagyatvat navaupadhin mithya gyatva avasiste maunam tu. First thing is Nava Abhasa. So these above 9 things that we discussed. So what are they? That we discussed very carefully, that starting with Bhagadi, 5 karmendriyas, Shravanadi, 5 organs of Gyanendriyas, 5 organs of perceptions, Pranadi, Pancha Prana, means prana, etc., 5 vital energy. Then Akashadi, Panchabhuta. I hope you remember, so that I am talking in Sanskrit so that you can understand. Starting with space, all the 5 elements. And of course, Buddhi, the thinking faculty. So Buddhi along with the 4-fold modifications, means Mana, Buddhi, Chitta, Ahankara. So that is one set. Avidya, the ignorance, kama, the desire, karma. So this becomes 8. In short, these 8 are called subtle body that we have discussed in the last class. So subtle body, and the 9 one is called this gross body, because this 8 thing has to be there in some location in the counter. It's like, we say very beautifully, especially in, this is Indian example, those days, not now, okay? Nowadays things have changed. In India, to get a railway ticket those days was very tough. Now also. It is easy to get admission in a college, but it is very difficult to get a confirmed ticket in railway to travel. Sometimes to get a job in railway is easier, but to get a railway reservation ticket in the train is difficult. I am not telling you jokes, once upon a time, just few years back. And people go for especially this Tatkal scheme came, means 24 hours, so you can book the ticket. Morning 10 o'clock it will be opened, the counter. I am not telling you jokes. People morning 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock, they will be in the queue to get that ticket, Tatkal ticket. Very tough it was. Coming to the point, there the example comes, very painful example is that the clerk, the dealing assistant or booking assistant is available. Because he is available also in his house. His neighbor has to go and stand because he cannot book. Because the dealing assistant is subtle body. But the counter is gross body. So unless and until he goes to the counter, both subtle body and gross body come together, ticket cannot be booked. Can you see this point? So also let us say, sometimes counter will be open, but the dealing assistant or the booking person is not there. So counter has that, so they will write counter closed. So why? Because the gross body is there, but the subtle body is not there. So this is what we give the comparison. So the transaction to happen, a railway ticket booking transaction to happen, we need both the booking person, the concerned person, and the counter along with the computer network. So also, me to function in life need both my subtle body and gross body. So he says this 9 put together, Nava Abhasa. So this above 9, these are called Abhasa, is the as the mere, appearances. And interestingly, they are nothing but they are called Upadhis. So this Upadhi means Uppa Samipe Stitva. It's a very nicely point we have said. Like, we have given this example of limiting adjunct, we say. It is exactly like, the crystal is kept. So behind the crystal or one side of the crystal, there is a red cloth. Now, because of the redness that is next to this crystal, now crystal will appear as a ruby. Can you see this point? Crystal is crystal clear. But because of the redness that is next to, so now it changes the appearance of crystal. And by mistake a person can take it as ruby. So that means here the redness or the red cloth becomes the limiting agent of crystal. Can you see this point? So one has to be very clear. So that's why the limiting agent, that redness, is not only limiting agent, but it is mithya. It is subject to falsify. In fact, it is unreal. And this Navatmana, Navagyatvat. So as if you look at what is the truth of this 9, the truth of 9 is me, Navagyatvat, because being the knower of this 9, Nava, the Nava Upadhi, 9 Upadhis, limiting agents, is nothing or are nothing unreal, mithya. Gyatva, having known this or knowing this, both way you can put it. avasishte maunam tu. What to do? Once you know this, you keep quiet. That's why more you are knowledgeable, more you feel like keeping quiet. Have you not observed yourself? The more you have knowledge, the more you keep quiet. We used to, we were advised in our childhood. If we talk little more or loudly or something we try to show up as a child, teenager also. Teenager time, of course, they did not talk much because we started giving back. That was very bad. So till teenager came, okay, till 10, 11-year-old, so they could handle us. They will give the example of, which was very evident example for all of us as a child grew up. Gandushe matra jalam sarfari farfarayate, because everybody used to quote this. Sarfari farfarayate, and don't behave like a surfari. So we get shocked, So surfari means like if you look at any water body. So in the water body there will be a lot of fishes, but on the top very tiny ones, they keeps jumping. Actually they don't have any value, they don't have any role. But their job is on the surface. Anything happens, you throw a little stone or little air bridges, some changes happens, they keep jumping as though there are plenty of fishes. So they will say, hey, don't behave like a surfer, okay? So if you want to be a really big one, go deeper. So big one never appears. It's very difficult to find them. So here is also the same thing. Now look at, the more you know, the more you become silent. Not out of frustration, not out of depression, because depressed people are equally silent. Not out of frustration, not out of depression, not out of, anger, because sometimes when you are angry, you do not know. That time also you become silent. Not even out of helplessness. Not seeking for attention, because child becomes silent to seek attention. Not even to seek attention. So when a person is silent, because this is what happens, the more you know, the more you become silent. How to know that your silence is healthy? Very simple. If your silence in turn makes you to accommodate anything and everything, if your silence in result allows you to accommodate anything and everything, signifies or means that your silence is healthy. Whereas if your silence does not allow you to accommodate, but only it wants to justify, it wants to do what it wants, that means that silence is not healthy. Next, continuing. परमे ब्रह्मणि स्वस्मिन् प्रविलाप्याखिलं जगत् गायन्नद्वैतमात्मानम् आस्ते वेदांत डिंडिमः. स्वस्मिन् परमे ब्रह्मणि अखिलं जगत प्रविलाप्य अद्वैत आत्मानं गायन आस्ते. So, parame brahmani akhilam jagat pravilapya. So the param brahma, the supreme reality, is nothing but one's own self. Swasmin parame brahmani, these two are together. So the param brahman is nothing but one's own self. So in that own self, so because me being Param Brahma or my own nature is Param Brahma, So in that Param Brahma, that means in me, Akhilam Jagata Pravilapya. So Pravilapya means having resolved. So what do I resolve? Resolving Akhilam Jagat, entire universe. Advaitam Atmanam Gayan Aste. Automatically what I do, once this is done, then this non-dual Atman, that Atman is alone existing, nothing else. And the person keeps Gayan Aste, keeps singing the glory. Means they enjoy this person without any challenge. When this is being taught very nicely, you can see this point. See, this is what I have been talking nowadays. That when me as a person not able to manage or analyze these basic things, especially my psychological aspects, how can I do this? Secondly, if I am not able to resolve the psychological aspect that is disturbing me, whether it is a sense of hurt, sense of guilt, sense of revenge, sense of pride, sense of, many things better. Superiority complex, inferiority complex, jealousy, all these are even though connected to one, but it has got its own shape and size, its own, families. But root cause is one, okay? Don't worry. It's like, one great-grandfather. So those days, one great-great-grandfather, he had, let us say, one cricket team. So from that cricket team, so many cricket teams have come, you understand? So in 4th generation, you will discover, God knows how many. So even though root is one, remember, but each one is different, behaves differently. There is some permutation, combination is there. So also here, even though root cause is one called Avidya, the jealousy, when you are jealous, your way of functioning is one way. When you are angry, is another way. When there is sense of hurt, is another way. Sense of guilt, another way. So each one has its own way of, because you need to know when there is sense of hurt, what is to be given. There is different medicine. Means different way of approach. And when there is sense of guilt, there is another, each one. So all this psychological aspect in short. When all this psychological aspect is not resolved in me, so how can I resolve anything and everything, including this entire universe? Can you see this point? So that's why first I have to release myself psychologically. If there is any psychological disturbance in me, first I need to work with me to overcome. That's why I must work to overcome psychological, and to overcome psychological issues, the one of the best thing is that the attitude. That's why by default we bring this attitude of surrender, the Shraddha. That actually takes care of many problems in my life. By default. Because what happens is, if there is no Shraddha, all my psychological aspects become subtler. Even though I try my tricks and techniques, even if I do many things, but deep within, like virus, how it this so-called this corona COVID-19, how it do variations, okay, delta plus this, that, every time keeps changing its form, okay, like that. This also psychological aspects keeps changing. So that's why that is more important. However, it says, then only when a person is able to resolve all conflict, and moreover the creation, the projection. Because we say there is a beautiful shoe. point to highlight. Asantasya kuta sukham. The one whose mind is in asantam, disturbed because of something or other, for that person, where is happiness? Asantasya kuta sukham. Means there is no happiness for that person. Fantastic. Same thing also we say, santasya kuta dukham iti. So the person whose mind is shantam, peace, calm, for that person, where is dukham, where is pain, where is suffering? Impossible. That's why we say, when your mind is calm, you win over anything and everything. The whole world follows you when your mind is calm. Even if an enemy. In fact, few years back, there was a photo and small video clip also was circulated in social media that happened in India, Gujarat, that a cow was tied down outside and a tiger came. And remember, so for a tiger, cow is the food, okay? And the way cow looked at the tiger, and continuously, nicely, like no, that motherly care and concern. Finally, this tiger came and slept next to the cow like a baby. In fact, in front of the face, slept like a baby. So it was very highly circulated few years back. So that's a really nice thing to observe. Like why and how? Because Shanta Purushasya, you see Santasya, you understand? Shantasya kutaha dukham iti. But had this cow been little bit disturbed, then the tiger would have tried to jump, because in fact tiger came only for that. But did not allow. So this is Shanta, when the mind is Shantam, kudaha dukham iti, where is pain? Where is pain? Where is suffering? Means in short, there is no suffering, there is no pain. So that's why what we need to hear is learning to resolve my projection, especially projected world. Because the world by itself, this I am talking psychologically, the world by itself is not a problem for me. But my projected world is a problem for me. So that projected world is to be resolved in me. So once that projected world is resolved in me, absolutely no problem for me. I keep functioning the way the wind moves. In fact, I don't prepare myself. That is the truth, that is the reality. If you observe yourself, you always prepare yourself. Have you not observed? Preparing yourself means that you are not prepared. We say one should be ever prepared. When the death comes, the appointment from death comes, will you take time to prepare yourself? Let me breathe few more breathings. Will you say that? Will you have time? Hey, there cannot be any time for you to prepare. The most important appointment that you are going to have. For that there is no preparation. Oh, Swami, very nice, very kind of you. That is how I don't prepare, I don't dress properly, whatever, ordinary things, whatever I put and hey, that is also equally bad, okay? God's sake. You need to present yourself, okay? Don't behave funny. Don't take it other way around. Don't take it negatively either. However, coming to the point, that's why learning to resolve. Continuing. Pratilomanulomabhyam Vishwasaropavadayo Chintane Shishyate Tattvam Iti Vedanta Dindima. Says beautifully. Vishwaropa avadayoho. Aropa apavadayoho. So there is superimposition and apavadayo, negation. So this Vishwaropa padayoho. So this, if you observe, it says, we very carefully say that oneself or this entire universe is born out of these 5 elements. So when we say 5 elements, that is how Prakriya based on the Krishna Yajurveda we do highlight, even though technically we don't subscribe that the teaching talks about the process or chronological way of thinking of evolution of this creation. That is not the purpose of scripture, whether it's Darwin theory is right or Big Bang theory is right. That is none of our business. Because Darwin theory, is better, is nothing but extension of Christianity. That's why Darwin theory got rejected now. However, now Big Bang theory is prevalent. So, but remember, Shastra job is not to talk about Darwin theory nor about Big Bang theory. Because Shastra is least bothered about the creation, how it came to existence. But Shastra is concerned about that why you have problem in creation. So learn to resolve the problem that you have with reference to creation. And in order to relate with the creation in a better way, it do talks about the creator. It do talks about the origin of creation. So that you can easily communicate, easily relate with the creation. But remember, Srishti Prakriya means how the creation comes to an existence is not the purpose of Veda, not purpose of the teaching. Because we have to be very clear, or else it will be a big mess. In fact, there is some contradiction. When one Veda says little one way, other Veda says differently. So that's why we come to a conclusion very carefully, systematically, that the purpose of Veda is not to highlight the Srishti Prakriya. But the purpose of Veda is how I can make this Srishti, this creation, useful to me. That is called Karma Kanda. And later on, when I have a problem with this creation, how to resolve it and how to relate with this creation intelligently without being affected, with the understanding that creation is not different from me, including the creator also is not different to me. Me, the creation and the creator are one and same. So that is the purpose of teaching, that is the core teaching. But to highlight all these things, of course it has to talk the process of creation just to take care of the curiosity of the seeker. Nothing else. Already time is off. More of it we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.